Welcome to today's Lost Souls, where we bring you the most impactful and unforgettable stories from around the world. Today, we remember the lives of remarkable individuals whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate. From iconic musicians to trailblazing activists, join us as we celebrate their extraordinary contributions and bid farewell to those who have left an indelible mark on our lives. Stay tuned for a journey through their incredible stories.
Daddy Lumba. Daddy Lumba, widely regarded as one of Ghana's most influential highlife musicians, passed away at the age of 60 on July 26, 2025, after a short illness. Born Charles Kojo Fosu, Daddy Lumba's career spanned nearly 4 decades, during which he became a beloved cultural icon, known for his soul-stirring voice, poetic lyrics, and profound impact on Ghanaian music and society at large. Daddy Lumba's journey into music began at a young age, driven by a passion to tell stories through song and to address issues close to the hearts of ordinary Ghanaians. Over his prolific career, he released more than 30 albums and over 200 songs, covering a wide range of themes such as love, forgiveness, beauty, wealth, mortality, and social justice. His ability to blend traditional highlife rhythms with contemporary sounds helped modernize the genre and expand its reach, inspiring numerous musicians both in Ghana and beyond. Known for his rich vocal tone and emotionally resonant performances, Daddy Lumba's music often provided comfort, reflection, and joy to his listeners. Songs like Yenti Obia, Aben Woha, and Awosun Kasa became anthems for generations and staples at social gatherings, weddings, and national celebrations. His contribution to the highlife genre is widely credited with sustaining and popularizing it during periods when it faced competition from emerging musical styles. Beyond the music, Daddy Lumba was also a storyteller and commentator on societal issues, using his art to highlight challenges such as poverty, corruption, and the importance of unity and moral integrity in Ghana. His lyrics often encouraged personal and communal growth, resonating with fans across all ages. The impact of Daddy Lumba's work was recognized at the highest levels of Ghanaian society. President John Mahama paid tribute, acknowledging that Daddy Lumba's music had become the soundtrack of many lives and assured that his influence would endure for generations. Other prominent figures, including former Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia and numerous contemporary musicians, expressed condolences and celebrated his extraordinary contributions to Ghanaian culture and music. Daddy Lumba's final public appearance was in February 2025 during a Valentine's Day event, where he performed alongside some of Ghana's top artists, highlighting his enduring vitality and connection to the Ghanaian music scene until the end of his life. His passing has left a profound void in the musical landscape of Ghana. The family has called for privacy during this challenging period, with funeral and memorial arrangements to be announced in due course. Nevertheless, Daddy Lumba's musical legacy continues to shine brightly, firmly embedding him as a pillar of the highlife tradition and an eternal symbol of Ghanaian cultural identity. Ziad Rahbani. Ziad Rahbani, the renowned Lebanese composer, pianist, playwright, and political commentator, passed away at the age of 69 on July 26, 2025, in Beirut. He was the son of the iconic Lebanese singer Fairuz and composer Asi Rahbani, part of the famous Rahbani brothers, who greatly influenced Arabic music. Rahbani was celebrated as a cultural and intellectual phenomenon in Lebanon. He was not only a pioneering musician whose work blended Western jazz and classical elements with traditional Arabic music, but also a sharp political satirist. His artistic output often critiqued Lebanon's sectarian politics and social injustice during and after the Lebanese Civil War, 1975 to 1990, making him a voice that resonated across generations and transcended sectarian divides. His compositions were performed by his mother Fairuz at sold-out concerts, and his plays combined satire with music to address the turmoil of Lebanese society. Rahbani was also known for his alignment with leftist politics and the Lebanese Communist Party, and his art reflected his rebellious stance against corruption and injustice. In his later years, Rahbani's health deteriorated, and he chose to reject further treatments before his death due to complications from a long illness, possibly related to a heart condition. Lebanese President Joseph Allen mourned him as not just an artist but a complete intellectual and cultural phenomenon who opened new horizons for Lebanese cultural expression. While the Minister of Culture highlighted the enduring legacy of his songs and ideas, his death drew a large outpouring of grief and tribute in Lebanon and the Arab world. Many gathered at Kauri Hospital in Beirut, and his mother, Fairuz, made a rare public appearance to honor her son. Ziad Rahbani's legacy endures as a towering figure in Lebanese music and culture, an artistic voice of conscience, humor, and courage, whose work will continue to inspire and unify despite the divisions Lebanon has faced. Tom Lehrer. Tom Lehrer, the renowned American musical satirist, mathematician, and songwriter, passed away at the age of 97 on July 26, 2025, at his home in Cambridge, Massachusetts. His longtime friend David Herder confirmed his death, though no cause of death was disclosed. Born on April 9, 1928, in Manhattan, Lehrer was a Harvard prodigy who earned a mathematics degree at the age of 18. He gained fame in the 1950s and 1960s for his darkly humorous and satirical songs that targeted politics, culture, social issues, and the looming threat of nuclear war. Some of his best-known songs include Poisoning Pigeons in the Park, The Vatican Rag, and The Elements, which listed the chemical elements to a Gilbert and Sullivan tune. Lehrer's performing career was relatively brief, mostly during the 1950s and early 1960s, after which he shifted focus back to teaching mathematics at universities, including Harvard and the University of California, Santa Cruz. He was also recognized for his 1960 Grammy nomination for Best Comedy Performance Musical for his live album An Evening Wasted with Tom Lehrer. In a notable act of generosity, in 2020, Lehrer placed his entire catalog of lyrics and sheet music into the public domain, with recording and performance rights released 2 years later, ensuring future accessibility to his work. Lehrer's influence is reflected in tributes from artists like Weird Al Yankovic, Randy Newman, and others who admired his wit, intellect, and ability to provoke thought while entertaining. He's remembered as a unique blend of a mathematician and musical provocateur who left a lasting legacy in satire and music. Marlene Warfield. Marlene Warfield, the acclaimed American actress known for her roles in Network, Maude, and The Great White Hope, passed away on April 6, 2025. At the age of 83, she died in a Los Angeles hospital after battling lung cancer. As confirmed by her sister Chequita Warfield, born on June 19, 1941, in Queens, New York, Warfield had a prolific career spanning more than 4 decades. She gained prominence for her powerful portrayal of Laureen Hobbs, a black revolutionary, in Sidney Lumet's 1976 film Network. On television, she was noted for playing Victoria Butterfield, B. Arthur's housekeeper, during the final season of the sitcom Maude, 1977-1978. Warfield also starred as Clara in the Broadway production of The Great White Hope, a role she reprised in the 1970 film adaptation, acting alongside James Earl Jones. Her artistic achievements were recognized with prestigious awards such as the Clarence Derwent Award for Outstanding Broadway Debut in 1969 and a Theatre World Award. Beyond these, she also received NAACP Image Awards for her theater work. Warfield is survived by her son Keith, grandson Demetrius, sister Shekura, and a cousin, percussionist Vivian Warfield. She was predeceased by her husband William Horsey in 1993 and her brother Earl in 2024. Her legacy includes a wide range of roles across film, television, and stage, marked by her deep commitment to portraying strong, socially conscious characters. Marlene Warfield's impact remains significant in American theater and film for her bold performances and memorable contributions to the arts. John Travolta. John Travolta was born on February 18, 1954, in Englewood, New Jersey. The youngest of 6 children in a lively arts-leaning household where performance and perseverance were part of everyday life. His father, Salvatore Sam Travolta, had been a semi-pro football player before running a tire business, modeling a blue-collar work ethic and a competitive spirit that would later fuel his son's relentless rehearsal habits. His mother, Helen Cecilia, was an actress, singer, and high school drama teacher who had performed with a singing group in her youth. She introduced her children to scripts, songs, and stage lights as naturally as other families introduced bedtime stories. Between the hum of the shop and the cadence of rehearsal piano, young John grew up understanding that craft is discipline disguised as joy. He watched older siblings Ellen and Joey Chase acting, and he learned early that applause has earned one careful beat, one clean step, one honest line at a time. In school, he gravitated to stages and studios rather than chalkboards. Fascinated by how music and movement could change a room's energy in an instant, he devoured classic movie musicals on television, mesmerized by Jean Kelly's athletic grace and the effortless rhythm of Fred Astaire. Then translated that inspiration into tap classes with Fred Kelly, Gene's brother, where the metronome of footwork taught him timing that would later make his screen dancing feel airborne. He sang in local productions, handled bit parts, and studied the mechanics of a scene. Where to stand, how to find his light, when to pause so a laugh could land. At home, his mother drilled enunciation and projection while encouraging vulnerability, reminding him that magnetism comes from truth more than technique. By his mid-teens, he knew the conventional track wasn't his route. He left high school at 16 to pursue performing full-time, a daring move softened by a family that recognized the seriousness beneath his smile. New York's theater district became his classroom. Auditions by day, classes at night, paying dues with the kind of persistence that turns raw promise into reliable professionalism. Even then, 2 passions ran on parallel rails: show business and airplanes. He built model aircraft, memorized cockpit layouts, and dreamed of piloting as intensely as he dreamed of headlining, planting the seeds of a dual identity that would define him later. Movie star on set, aviator in the sky. Those early years forged his balance. Discipline from his father, artistry from his mother, camaraderie from a big family, and a self-starter's grit sharpened in crowded audition lines, preparing him for the sudden seismic rise that would follow. Travolta's ascent from promising stage kid to global phenomenon hinged on a 1-2 punch that defined an era: Saturday Night Fever, 1977, and Grease, 1978. As Tony Monero, the Brooklyn kid who finds purpose under disco lights, he delivered a performance, equal parts swagger and vulnerability, capturing late 7 South restlessness with precision footwork and aching aspiration. The role earned him an Academy Award nomination and made his white suit a pop culture totem. A year later, as Danny Zuko in Grease, he turned teen nostalgia into rocket fuel, singing, dancing, and fencing with charm opposite Olivia Newton-John, cementing a screen persona that felt electric yet approachable. The momentum carried into Urban Cowboy, 1980, where he traded dance floors for the Mechanical Bull, helping ignite a country cool wave. Then came Brian De Palma's Blowout, 1981, a paranoid thriller that showcased his dramatic range and meticulous Listening on Camera. The early 8 South swings included Staying Alive, 1983, a stylized sequel that kept his dance mystique alive even as taste shifted. Reinvention arrived via comedy, Look Who's Talking, 1989, and its sequels reframed him as a breezy blue-collar romantic lead, reconnecting him with mass audiences through timing, warmth, and effortless banter. The miracle of his career, however, was the audacious mid-90s revival that turned respect into reverence. Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, 1994, reintroduced Travolta as Vincent Vega, a soft-spoken hitman with dancer's grace and deadpan humor. And the performance earned him his second Oscar nomination. The film didn't just revive a career. It rewrote his narrative as a risk-taking craftsman. He parlayed that momentum into a dazzling run. The sly velvet-gloved swagger of Get Shorty, 1995, which won him a Golden Globe. The intensity of Broken Arrow, 1996, and the luminous decency of Phenomenon, 1996. Then a pair of 1998 showcases Mike Nichols' Primary Colors, where he tracked a politician's cheerful charm, curdling under pressure, and a civil action, a courtroom drama that pressed his empathy and persistence to the forefront. In between were crowd pleasers like Michael, 1996, where his physicality turned gentle comedy into quiet wonder, and John Woo's Face Off, 1997, a virtuoso exercise in identity swap that demanded precision in gesture, vocal cadence, and eye language. The 2000s diversified further. The General's Daughter, 1999, and Swordfish, 2001, flexed thriller muscles. Ladder, 49, 2004, carried everyday heroism. Hairspray, 2007, let him vanish into Edna Turnblad with singing verve and fearless costume work. Bolt, 2008, gave his voice an action hero's arc, and Wild Hogs, 2007, reminded Hollywood of his evergreen comedic chemistry. In the 2010s and beyond, he toggled between prestige television or curiosities and indie grit. The People v. O.J. Simpson. American Crime Story, 2016, cast him as Robert Shapiro, a role that required calibrated theatricality and meticulous control. Producer and performer working in harmony. He chased character studies in I Am Wrath, 2016, Western textures in A Valley of Violence, 2016, Crime World morality plays like Gotti, 2018, and Metapandem Unease in The Fanatic, 2019. Recent work leaned into Sunbleached Noir and Small Town. Pressure Cookers, The Poison Rose, 2019, Paradise City, 2022, and Mobland, also known as American Metal, 2023, where his seasoned stillness and growly gravitas did as much talking as the dialogue. He surprised audiences with an affecting turn in The Aviation, The Medsherd, The Shepherd, 2023, a project that quietly fused his lifelong love of flight with narrative rescue and grace under pressure. Across decades, the through-line is craft. He listens deeply to scene partners, lets rhythm govern movement and speech, and uses the camera like a dance partner. Close when he wants intimacy, expansive when he wants spectacle. Few stars have vaulted from musical icon to dramatic anchor to comedic ringleader and back again with such stamina. Fewer still have weathered shifting trends while keeping the core promise intact. When Travolta enters the frame, the air changes and the story's pulse steadies to his timing. Decades of dance-driven roles, action stunts, and long shooting schedules demanded that Travolta treat his body like an instrument, tuned, protected, and ready on cue. Early in his career, he leaned on classic dancer conditioning, mobility drills for hips and ankles, core stability to keep turns crisp, and interval work to preserve breath control while singing and moving. And as the roles diversified into thrillers and effects, heavy set pieces, he shifted toward joint-friendly strength routines, posterior chain lifts, controlled tempo work, and plenty of rotator cuff maintenance to guard shoulders stressed by choreography and wire work. He's spoken over the years about respecting recovery, warm-ups that actually warm, cool-downs that downshift heart rate, and an almost ritual attention to footwear. So knees and lower back stay aligned when he's on polished floors or concrete. Sets. Nutrition follows the same professionalism. Portion awareness on set. Hydration is non-negotiable and flexible planning that travels. Simple proteins, vegetables, and steady energy sources that won't spike then crash before a scene or a night shoot. Sleep is his secret performance enhancer. He treats call sheets like jet lag maps, napping strategically to keep his reaction time sharp for camera marks and crucially for flying. As an aviator with multi-engine experience, he undergoes recurrent medicals, sim sessions, and emergency drills. The aviation world's culture of checklists dovetails with an actor's need for repeatable excellence. The result is a sustainable engine. Mobility to move, strength to endure, breath to deliver, and a mindset that treats longevity as the real box office. Health across a long career is never a straight line, and Travolta has navigated the inevitable wear and tear with patience and craft. Dance and action work can tax the lumbar spine and knees. He offsets that with low-impact cardio, ellipticals, pool sessions, and long, steady walks that double as line rehearsal time. When roles call for physique changes, he approaches them gradually, avoiding extremes that would cost performance quality. He has also embraced the invisible pillars of wellness: stress regulation through routine, hands-on parenting when schedules allow, and hobbies that restore focus. Aviation plays a quiet role here. Pilots learn to compartmentalize, to make decisions under pressure, and to file away turbulence once wheels are down. That discipline translates on set, where resets are constant and the ability to start fresh after a mistake preserves energy for the day's final setup. He has publicly emphasized preventive care, regular checkups, an ear for early warning signs, and deference to specialists when something needs attention. Habits that keep him flight-ready and camera-ready. In recent years, he's radiated the grounded calm of a veteran who knows his capacities. He can dance when needed, throttle up for a chase scene, or stand absolutely still and let a close-up do the work. That balance between movement and stillness, effort and recovery has become his health signature. The behind-the-scenes architecture that lets the on-screen ease look effortless. Fame magnifies triumphs, but it also throws a harsh light on heartbreak. And Travolta's life has carried profound losses that reshaped his center of gravity. In January 2009, his firstborn, Jet, died at age 16 after a seizure while the family was on vacation in the Bahamas. A devastation that words never fully hold. In the aftermath, Travolta and Kelly Preston spoke of their son with tenderness and candor, channeling grief into the Jet Travolta Foundation to support children with special needs and assist programs focused on health and community. The discipline that had studied his craft became a scaffolding for mourning, ritual, routine, and presence, while aviation, with its checklists and focus, offered a space to breathe and recalibrate. He learned to carry sorrow as a quiet companion, rather than a silencer of joy, honoring Jet by engaging life rather than retreating from it, and by protecting the privacy of Ella and Benjamin as they grew through their own seasons of remembrance. A second shattering chapter arrived in July 2020 when Kelly Preston, his wife of nearly 3 decades, died after a private battle with breast cancer. The couple's partnership had weathered industry pressures, parenthood's daily miracles, and the unspeakable pain of losing a child. Her passing recast every routine, leaving Travolta both guardian and guide for their 2 children. His public words were spare and reverent, a gratitude letter to the medical teams and to those who respected their need for quiet. In the years that followed, He marked milestones for Ella and Benjamin with affectionate pride, spotlighting their interests and talents while keeping the family heartbeat steady. He also said goodbye to beloved colleagues and friends. Among them, Olivia Newton-John, whose generosity and grace on and off-screen defined an era, and Kirstie Alley, whose comic fearlessness made their look whose talking rapport feel like lightning in a bottle. Each farewell reminded him that legacies are measured in kindness as much as credits, and that memory is an active practice. Telling stories, playing shared songs, cooking a favorite dish, keeping the laughter close. Out of these losses came a protege, gentler cadence in his public life, a renewed devotion to causes tied to children's health and cancer research, and a sharpened sense that presence, showing up for family dinners, school events, quiet walks on the tarmac, is the role that matters. Most in the present day, Travolta moves with the deliberate cadence of someone who has learned what to protect. Time with his children, curiosity for the next character, and the rejuvenating rituals of aviation. Professionally, he keeps a steady, selective pace, reading scripts with a pencil in hand, circling verbs and emotional pivots, testing dialogue out loud until it feels lived in rather than memorized. He favors projects that let him modulate tone, crime dramas with quiet moral reckoning, character-led thrillers with room for stillness, and limited series television where long-form arcs allow for subtle recalibration across episodes. Between sets, he nurtures collaborations with directors who appreciate process, table reads that prioritize listening, rehearsals that explore blocking as choreography, and camera tests that fine-tune how a close-up breath lands on screen. He understands the algorithmic age, but refuses to chase noise. Instead, he cultivates relevance through quality of presence, appearing in judicious commercials and special appearances that play to his strengths, letting humor, musicality, and self-awareness remind audiences that his toolkit remains wide open. Voice work continues to appeal for the craft challenge of creating a full performance with only breath, timing, and micro-inflections. It's a space where his musical ear becomes a compass. When a role requires physicality, he builds the body for the behavior. Gait first, then posture, then the microchoices. How a character enters a room, what they do with their hands when they lie, where the eyes go when truth hurts. That fidelity to small truths keeps familiar charisma from becoming routine. It keeps him interesting. Home life is a blend of ordinary comforts and extraordinary logistics. He maintains pilot currency with recurrent training, emergency simulations, and type-specific proficiency checks, treating every hour in the cockpit as both meditation and responsibility. Aviation communities still feel like extended family. Pilots, trade checklists and stories at hangars and charity fly-ins. And Travolta, who has long championed safety culture and education, lends his platform to amplify that ethos. Family rhythms anchor everything, celebrating Ella's milestones and creative pursuits with quiet pride, shepherding Benjamin's curiosities with gentle encouragement, and keeping memory alive through rituals that honor Kelly and Jet. Favorite songs at dinner, shared stories on anniversaries, and service projects that carry their names forward. He's visible enough to make fans feel included. Occasional social posts, thoughtful red carpet moments, yet private enough to preserve the sanctity of ordinary days. Cooking, walking dogs, movie nights on the couch, a quick flight at golden hour when the weather is kind and the runway calls. Philanthropy remains a through-in. He supports initiatives tied to children's health, cancer research, and special needs communities, preferring practical help over performative headlines. Artistically, he keeps learning. Dialect refreshers with coaches he trusts, movement sessions to keep joints honest, and script labs where he mentors younger performers on beats, objectives, and the art of making a mark without stealing a scene. He carries himself like a steward of stories, of family, of flight lanes, measured and dependable, with the resilient glow of someone who has known both wide applause and private silence, and has chosen to meet the future with craft, gratitude, and an open runway. Travolta's legacy rests on something rarer than fame: elasticity. He proved that a performer can define one era, vanish from the center, and return to redefine the next without betraying the core that made audiences lean in. As a dancer-actor hybrid, he modernized the Malacrene musical lead, fusing athletic precision with unguarded feeling. As a dramatic presence, he learned to do more with less, letting breath, gaze, and micro-timing carry subtext. As a comedian, he trusted rhythm and warmth over showiness. His influence echoes in performers who treat movement as character language, in directors who build set pieces around an actor's physical musicality, and in the persistent crossover between pop music and cinema that Saturday Night Fever and Grease turbocharged. He also modeled professional resilience. Study the craft, protect your health, accept reinvention, and when culture shifts, shift with it, then meet audiences again with generosity and precision. Off-screen, his aviation advocacy and hands-on philanthropy expanded the idea of what a movie star can steward: community, safety, culture, education, reinforcing that celebrity is a platform only as strong as the service it supports. The image that endures is paradoxically simple: a man who can command a stadium's roar, yet still make a close-up feel like a private conversation. A technician of light and timing who never lost the human pulse beneath the choreography. A curated milestone map clarifies the arc. 1975 national TV charm offensive with Welcome Back Kotter planting the seed of Everyday. Relatability 1977-1978. Seismic cultural imprint. Tony Manero's Ache became an anthem for working-class aspiration. Danny Zuko's swagger turned nostalgia into global community sing-alongs. 1980-1981 range expansion with Urban Cowboy and Blowout, proving he could ground mythic cool in vulnerability and suspicion. 1989 box office reintroduction via comedy, re-establishing audience trust. 1994, the Tarantino Renaissance and actors. Craft reappraised in real time, leading to a mid-90s run that balanced danger, empathy, and wit across Get Shorty, Michael, Phenomenon, Face Off, Primary Colors, and a civil action. 2000s diversification, thrillers, ensemble pieces, and a joyous return to musical form with Hairspray, reminding viewers that transformation can be tender, not just technical. 2010's prestige television validation with The People v. O.J. Simpson, plus indie gambits that kept risk alive. 20 to 20s, a tempered cadence, select features and character studies, voice work, and an aviation-themed short that braided life and art. Threaded through these decades are constants: disciplined preparation, a dancer's sensitivity to camera rhythm, and a humane curiosity about people. That is the quiet secret of longevity: technique maintained, wonder preserved. Travolta's story thus reads like a pilot's logbook and an actor's journal in one. Hours accumulated, lessons filed, storms weathered, and a standing clearance to keep climbing, one carefully judged decision at a time. A streamlined map of Travolta's screen journey clarifies both range and stamina across 5 decades. In 1970s TV breakout as Vinnie Barbarino on Welcome Back Kotter. Then the cultural earthquake of Saturday Night Fever 1977 and the global sing-along of Grease. 1978 capped by noir-tinged credibility in Blowout. 1981-1980 the honky-tonk zeitgeist of Urban Cowboy 1980. Experiments that tested stardom's elasticity, and a triumphant reintroduction to mass audiences with the family-friendly comedy Look Who's Talking. 1989, a 1990s The Renaissance Decade, Pulp Fiction, 1994, reframed him as a cool moral enigma. Get Shorty, 1995, delivered a Golden Globe and effortless satirical swagger. Michael and Phenomenon, 1996, showed tenderness without sentimentality. Face Off, 1997, became a clinic in physical and vocal transformation. Primary Colors, 1998, and A Civil Action, 1998, anchored prestige drama. 2000s. Thriller Senyu in The General's Daughter, 1999, and Swordfish, 2001, Blue Collar Valor in Ladder 49. 2004, Ensemble Charm in Wild Hogs, 2007, and Joyous Metamorphosis in Hairspray, 2007. 2010's A Pivot to Limited Series with the People's O.J. Simpson American. Crime Story 2016 India Experiments, Like I Am Rathan, A Valley of Violence, Gada and the Fanatic. Each exploring different shades of resolve, menace, or obsession. 2020 Selective Features and Character Studies, The Poison Rose, Paradise City, and Mobland. American Metal, plus the aviation-themed short, The Shepherd, which braided life, and art. Recognition followed the work. 2 Academy Award nominations for Best Actor for Saturday Night Fever and Pulp Fiction. Multiple Golden Globe nominations, with a win for Get Shorty, and later career acclaim via limited series prestige with industry. Nods acknowledging his calibrated turn as Robert Shapiro. The pattern underneath the titles is instructive. He leans into rhythm of language, blocking and edit, and treats stardom as an instrument to serve the scene, not eclipse it. This is why the filmography reads less like a straight sprint and more like a sequence of controlled takeoffs and landings, bursts of altitude, periods of recalibration, then another climb when the wind is right. Signature scenes reveal his technique in high relief. Consider the opening of Saturday Night Fever. Tony Manero's street strut set to Staying Alive is not just a swagger. It is story told through gait. The heel balto cadence communicates class, ambition, and Saturday salvation before a word is spoken. In Grease, the finale of You're the One That I Want is choreography as character arc. Travolta's posture softens from peacock to partner, calibrating eyeline and tempo to Olivia Newton-John's phrasing so the camera catches a courtship finishing. Its sentence in movement. Blowout turns listening into action. Watch how he leans forward, breath shallow when mixing tapes. The performance treats sound design as a scene partner, and the final fireworks drowned. Scream is a devastating collision of craft and fate. In Pulp Fiction, the Jackrabbit Slim's twist is economy incarnate. Minimal footwork, maximum cool, a deadpan that lets the frame do the boasting. Later, the adrenaline shot sequence plays terror as stillness. Micro ticks in his jaw and eyes telegraph fear while he keeps the comedy's timing intact. Face Off multiplies difficulty. He must suggest one man impersonating another. So he layers gesture, vowel shapes, and blink patterns to create a palimpsest of identities. The mirror gunfist beats and the church standoff are studies in vocal modulation and ocular focus. Primary Colors distills charisma as technique. The barbecue handshake sequence shows a politician's empathy engineered in real time. Hand pressure, shoulder touch, micropauses that produce trust. In Hairspray, Welcome to the 60s is a transformation sung in breath placement and weight. Distribution. He makes Edna's bashful sway bloom into full-body joy without mocking the character, preserving dignity inside the spectacle. Even late career thrillers show restraint as a weapon. Close-ups where he lets silence do the talking, keeping the audience's ear tuned to subtext. Across these scenes, the constants are clean eyelines, musical timing, and a dancer's respect for the frame. He knows when to fill it and when to leave negative space for the viewer's imagination. That is the invisible grammar of longevity. Make the camera your partner. Keep rhythm your compass and let truth, never mere technique, drive the moment that lives in memory.